Next question. Differentiate national manufacturing investment zones with SEZ. Examine SEZ performance and highlight recent DESH bill. Now if I have to give the weightage to the question, what would be my priority? My priority would be giving more weightage to this component. Examine SEZ's performance, because the keyword here is bigger in nature. The keyword here is differentiate. When compared to the differentiate or highlight, examine is the bigger keyword, and I should give more attention to this keyword. So the question should be divided accordingly. Now what could be the introduction here? I have already mentioned about importance of the manufacturing sector in creating the employment. Both these National Manufacturing Investment Zones and SEZs, their basic purpose is to propel the manufacturing sector in India and create employment. However, there are few differences. So if you observe, isn't it not giving enough base that is needed for the differences? So I am talking about what actually they are. Now I can come to the differences. So this point is setting the context or setting the tone of the question. Both of the purposes are the same for both the NMIZ and the SEZs. Both of them have the similar purpose, but there is a difference. That difference we talk about here. SEZ primarily for the export, NIMZ is for the manufacturing by attracting the domestic and foreign investment. You can also add one more point. This SEZ has been created through legal backing, SEZ Act 2005, while NIMZ, it is part of the national manufacturing policy. Then the size of the SEZ are smaller in nature, 10 to 1000 hectares of the land, while NIMZ has minimum size of 5000 hectares. Its maximum size is not given. It can be very bigger in nature. I'll explain you this thing in detail. We have around 16 approved NIMZs because the size is bigger, so we cannot have such kind of SEZs in hundreds, while NIMZs are limited in nature, 16, 3 in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana, because it is in Andhra Pradesh that we have to know. These are the differences. Let's try to understand a little bit more. India is the first country to come up with the export promotion zones before the SEZs. What are these export promotion zones? These are nothing but kind of areas, infrastructure and areas and zones where there is very good amount of infrastructure. If I am the person who is involved in the business activity, government will come to me and government will say, Mr. Ateeq, come and invest here. We are going to provide you good infrastructure in terms of the roads, in terms of the power availability, in terms of taxation benefits. So these are the things that are required, because for me the cost of product will come down and I can get good profits. Government cannot provide it all over India, so government thought we can provide it in few areas, and these areas can helpful in the promotion of the exports. So they have started this thing. India is the first Asia's country to come up with this concept, export promotion zone. The concept is very good, where we are developing areas with good infrastructure development so that promote the exports. So they have went to the different types of the industries. They have asked to come for the investment, to bring the investment in these zones. But problem is most of the industries were jewelry industries, because these areas were developed in those areas, western parts of the India, and there only jewelry industries, they have shifted to that area to get the taxation benefits. Like envisaged by the government, the export promotion zones were not developed. In order to develop the export promotion zones, one industry should come. Then agglomeration should happen. Complementary and supplementary industries should develop. With these complementary and supplementary industries, forward and backward linkages will develop. Let's say you can imagine this thing living in any area. When you are for the preparation, you have come to the Hyderabad in the Ashok Nagar area. There you come for some kind of classes where you study. So there are some institutions that are delivering subject to you. Along with these institutions, certain other facilities have come up, entertainment facilities, hostel room facilities, food facilities. Since all the things are coming at one place, the cost will come down for everyone. Now this can be replicated at the industries also. When multiple industries, complementary and supplementary industries, along with the roads offered by the government come together at one place, the cost of production comes down, the agglomeration will happen, economies of scale will improve, and so this can promote the export. This was the intention. But what has happened was, we could not develop this thing. We could not develop the forward and backward linkages. The problems were, only jewelry industries were attracted. These were developed only in the few pockets. Ease of doing business were not there. There were so many. If you go back to that era, we have seen the license laws, corruption, so many rules and restrictions, strong labor laws, all these things. This has not attracted any kind of investment. So this, and also this export promotion zones do not allow the service sector, and there is no component of the industrial townships. Because of this thing, export promotion zones failed. What is this industrial townships? These industrial townships are the concepts developed by the China. China has developed the coastal economic zones. Now, what are these coastal economic zones? Unlike India, the coastal zones of the China are generally, they are not rich in biodiversity. These are wastelands, dry lands, not suitable for huge amount of agricultural activity. So China has used this large amount of coastal zones for development of the industrial activity. Huge, very big sized lands China has took, and China has developed them as industrial townships. Industrial township means it has developed into a completely a city, like your Jamshedpur, a city which has good amount of industrial development, good amount of labor supply, infrastructure, market, everything is developed. A complete full-fledged city. You are not coming there just for the job and an employment purpose. You are living there, you are staying there. In the export promotion zone, such townships are not there. They are developed in somewhere far-fled cities. Not everyone will be willing to relocate there. China has developed such kind of industrial townships which are very bigger in size, which could offer good number of services. Since China is a communist country where the rights are less followed, so it could grab a large amount of the land and could give more benefits, and there were no questioning also, right? So China was successful in this. On these lines, India has also dismantled this export promotion zones and come up with the SEZ, and legal backing was given to it in 2005. SEZs, these are the special economic zones with a primary purpose to promote the exports. Similar to the export promotion zones, these are also areas, but these SEZs have the intention to develop as a townships. Some industrial townships, one area will be taken, some special purpose vehicle will come, means some company will come there, it will invest in terms of the infrastructure, provision of services to the any private sector that come in the invest in the SEZ, and that private sector will also be offered tax incentives. But the goal of this private sector who has come into the SEZ and doing and getting the tax benefits of that private sector should promote the exports. That is the intention behind this SEZs. Now service sector are also allowed in this SEZs, and objective is to develop them as a industrial townships. This is the concept of the SEZ. But what has happened? Government said we will give the tax incentives, we will provide you the infrastructure. Over a period of time, this will develop into a kind of townships where everything is there, ease of doing business will be there, so that people can come there, invest and promote the exports. This will in turn generate more employment, more GDP growth. This was the intention. But what has happened was, these SEZs were not bigger in size as our coastal economic zones of the China. The size of these SEZs are very smaller in nature, and also the development of the SEZs depend upon the land availability that is given by the state governments. Not everywhere land is properly available. Sometimes what happens is state government acquired the land, after a certain period of time its rate was increased, then they sell off to the other people. So they have misused this provision also. Acquisition of the land is difficult. Even if they acquired, some state governments have misused. This was said by the CAG himself. They have not utilized for the purposes for which it was acquired. And also, most of the times, service oriented industries have been attracted to this SEZ. Again, forward and backward linkages not developed. Industrial townships not developed. We do not have that amount of funds with us. There is no support from the state governments also. So all these things have caused huge amount of the troubles, and government, whatever the tax benefits they used to give, they have reduced those tax benefits. They have reintroduced the MAT, and also there was strict labor laws. Labor laws was not as light as NMIZ, so labor loss was very high. Government said, since these are zones needed for the export promotion, if any product of SEZ is sold in the domestic market, that product will also attract the customs duty. So because of this thing, the products that are coming from the SEZ failed to get the competitive advantage in the domestic market. So they struggled and they suffered. So these SEZs faced severe problems of small geographical in size, regional disparity, land taken and allotted for different purposes, MAT was reintroduced, service oriented industries were attracted, customs duty was applied, labor laws were strict, and WTO also opposed this SEZ. Why they opposed? WTO, again, like I mentioned, this is a body which promotes free trade. No export promotion can be provided by provision of the subsidies. This is a kind of areas which promote subsidies. So WTO opposed it. Because of this reason, we have come up with a DESH. There is a bill still. We have to know just only one or two lines about it. Now this DESH, these are nothing but a developmental zones. These are not special economic zones that are focusing on the exports. They are nothing but developmental zones. They are comprehensive in nature. Yes, they do have the infrastructure, they do have very good facilities, they can be developed into the industrial townships, but their focus is not on only exports. They can promote domestic as well as exports. They attract the investment. So such kind of developmental zones will be promoted, and customs duty will not be levied on these areas of the domestic developmental zones. If they levy any tax, it is to bring the equalization. If industry is present in the developmental zone, if this industry is getting tax benefit and the industry that is outside this developmental zone is not getting any tax benefit, in order to bring them on par, some equalization levy will be applied, and state governments will be given more flexibility in terms of this DESH initiative. So this is your DESH. Now in this question, they have asked you the examine SEZ performance. Some facts, some positive things also needs to be mentioned here, which I have given here. I have given the main objectives of SEZ, then performance, how much of employment they have provided, and what is the better thing they have done, and also all the issues which I have mentioned now, I have discussed, I have given here, and then I have mentioned about the objective. If you see the weightage I have given for the DESH, and the differences is very less compared to the weightage I have given to the examination of the SEZs. That's how you write this question depending upon the keywords that are given in the question. I hope this session was helpful. Thank you.